I'm Angela. Welcome to the channel, or welcome back, and welcome to another episode of #Friday Sews. Hey all, hope you're having a great weekend. Thanks so much for tuning in. I do have just a couple little pieces of housekeeping to share with you guys before we jump into sewing and life for the past week. The first, of course, is to say a big thank you to Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room. I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with her channel. She is the creator of the #Friday Sews. I always link to her channel below on my Friday Sews videos. So if for some reason you haven't seen her channel yet, be sure and give her channel a look. Although I don't think there's too many of you guys who are not familiar with her fantastic channel. And big thank you to all of you guys for tuning in. I'm so happy that you're hanging out with me for a little while. And big welcome to all of the new subscribers. I noticed that there have been a number of new subscribers. I think my capsule wardrobe planning video kind of brought a lot of you guys here. Thank you so much for subscribing and watching my videos. I hope that you feel welcome here on my channel and just in the sewing community at large. I find it to be a very welcoming community. Everyone is so helpful and friendly, so I love that. So thank you guys. And then one other little bit to talk about before we jump in. So if you saw my recent video where I talked about sewing down my stash, I wanted to just add a couple of things about that. One thing I forgot to mention, and that at least one viewer commented on, asked if I was including any fabric that I have on hand specifically set aside that I use for making muslins or toiles. And the answer to that is no. I don't have very much of that on hand to begin with, and I did not include that in my starting number. And just a little aside, when I do make muslins, what I usually use for that, if I have old sheets, I'll use that. And then oftentimes what I'll do is, if Joann's is having a sale on their muslin, like their cheapest grade of muslin, which is already low price, and then they have a sale on it, I might go and get maybe 9 or 10 yards of that at $2 a yard. It's a good deal, and I don't mind scrapping that. And I do tend to use those pieces over as many times as I can, as many times as I have to cut them down to fit until they can't be used again. So that's kind of my process with muslins. And one more thing about the sewing down the stash video, I appreciated greatly all the comments from you guys. And it seems like there were a bunch of you who are kind of in the same situation that I am, where you feel like you have too much fabric on hand. And it could be for any number of reasons, there's no place to put it anymore, which is kind of my situation. I've ended up where I have kind of piles and piles of fabric sitting here and there. And that's my cue to change it up a little bit. It's that's my cue to say, okay, enough is enough. I cannot buy any more fabric until I sew some of this down. And so that's what has led me to do my stash sew down. I think a few of you guys said that, yes, you have a ton of fabric, but you're happy that way. You have no plans to change, and I can totally appreciate that too. We love our fabric, don't we? And I can totally appreciate being okay with it. And then kind of on the flip side of that, there were a few of you guys who do not keep a large stash at all. You only keep on hand enough for your next few projects, and I totally respect that. To me, that seems like the logical, most practical way to approach things. For those of us with serious fabric addictions, that might not be an option without a lot of deep inner work. Anyway, it kind of ran the gamut, and I just wanted to say thank you guys for sharing your input, whether it was exact number of yardage that you have, or the reason why you don't keep a lot of fabric, or that you do have a lot of fabric. I loved hearing it all. It's all valid and valuable, and it was so good to read those. So thank you guys so much. So that was a lot of housekeeping. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and jump into sewing for this past week. I did get a little bit of progress done on my Love Notions Duet Trousers. I put the pattern up here. And Most of the pants that I have been making recently have been just pull-on pants, elastic waist, maybe a little bit of extra room, so they're like not voluminous per se, but roomy, I guess. Maybe I don't know what the difference is, but not form-fitting like a trouser. I guess that's like the right way to say it. The duets, however, are a dressy, more form-fitting trouser, and I am in need of that type of pants because all of my pants are elastic waist pull-on pants or cargo pants or yoga pants. I don't have very many dress-up pants, and I really don't have that much occasion to wear dressy pants these days because of my job change that I took last year. We don't dress up there at all. I work at a nature center. So you're likely to find me either helping members choose the perfect trail to hike or out on the trails. So I don't dress up at all for my job. But there are times when you do need a nice pair of slacks or trousers. These duets are going to be the thing. I've gotten to the point where I have them assembled. I still have to put the waistband on, put the zipper in, do the hem, but they're, for the most part, they're assembled enough that I could try them on and do like a loose, like a dry fit. And I have to say that they are so good. I love these pants already, and they're not even done. I can't wait to share them with you guys. I will do a full pattern review on the duet pattern. Look for that next week because I should have the pants finished up by the end of the weekend, or at least no later than Monday. So I will do a pattern review on those for anybody that's interested in that. And one thing I wanted to point out, and it was kind of like eye-opening for me, if you've seen my previous videos where I've talked about the process that I went through to get a good fitting pair of pants, and especially around, you know, the crotch curve area, which is tricky, and I had perfected that for my body and made a template of it. So I've been using that on all my pants ever since, and it's worked out fine. But one thing I did not take into account, because all the pants I've made recently are looser elastic waist pants, the template or the sloper that I made worked fine. But with these, they're more fitted through, you know, the torso area and the back waist and the tummy. I still use my template, but when I cut out my fashion fabric pieces and put them together to dry fit, I noticed that they were really roomy, and I hadn't taken that into account when using my template. But it wasn't a problem. So they were really roomy, like at the back waist area. So it was pretty easy. I just took up, like at the waist in the center back, about 1.5 inches at the top, and then tapering down towards the bottom. So it worked out fine, but it's something to keep in mind that unless I make like a second template for dressy or fitted pants, I'm just gonna have to always remember that I'll probably have too much gap here in the back and that I'll need to take that in. It's better than the other way around, I guess. It's easy to take something in, but if you've cut something too short, you can't undo that. So I just wanted to point that out because I've kind of been so enamored with this template that I made and hadn't taken into consideration different styles of pants. So I just wanted to share that with you guys in case you might find that helpful or at least interesting. And that is about it for what I've sewn. And of course, I'm not buying fabric, so I don't have anything to share there. I did buy a pattern, so as you guys may be aware, Love Notions does their Feature Friday pattern every week. And so yesterday, Friday's of this week's pattern was, I'm drawing a blank on the name of it, but it was kind of a jacket slash coat with a big hood and a big wide collar. Oh, I am totally drawing a blank on the name. I'll put it like across the screen. I thought it looked very nice. So for $5, I went ahead and picked that up. And you can find, like, people that are Love Notions ambassadors have coupon codes. I'm pretty sure that Whitney of Tomcat Stitchery is one. She always has a coupon code. So getting progress on my duets and buying that pattern pretty much sums up what I've done in my sewing room this week. I did tidy it up a little bit. It was, so we'll throw something else in here. it's getting to be gardening season. So I pulled like all my big, like my seed stash out of my closet, my storage closet, and I'm kind of using my cutting table to get organized for sowing. SOWING, sowing seeds. And it had gotten to be kind of a mess. So I spent a few minutes this week just kind of tidying it up. And yeah, in life, I worked a lot this week. It was pretty busy. We had a resignation. Well, she didn't actually resign. She took a new role in our organization. So we lost her from our team at the end of December. So we're a little short staffed right now. So the rest of us are kind of working more to fill that in until we've hired 2 new people part-time. So they're coming on board this coming week, I think. So we'll get them trained up and I'll go back to my regular schedule for the most part. So it's been a little busy there. And other than that, I mean, life itself has been pretty quiet. I'm still I just really got into the swing of things with my physical therapy program for my knees. That's going well. I feel like my therapist is really good. I feel like he's experienced enough and he seems so knowledgeable and that I'm in good hands. And I'm going there 3 days a week. So I feel like that's like a pretty strong schedule. It seems like 3 days is quite a lot, but I guess that's what I need. So at least for 4 weeks, I'm going 3 days a week. And I have exercises to do at home. So if you guys have ever been through physical therapy for anything, you kind of know the drill there. It's not just one and done. It's a lengthy process. And as my therapist explained to me just yesterday at my session, that these kind of changes, especially with these soft tissue injuries and issues, can take a while to see progression. And the progression that you notice, it might be just so minute, but over time, you'll gradually notice it getting better. So I'm hopeful that I won't have to live with this pain for the rest of my life. It had gotten to where I felt that this is just it forever. This is what I'm just gonna have to deal with forever. And I'm hoping that that won't be the case. And it's not the worst thing, but any kind of constant pain is too much, right? And other than work, physical therapy, like I mentioned, I'm in the early stages of planting my garden for this year. And every year, my vegetable garden kind of gets bigger and bigger. We'll add more raised beds or just expand like the area that we grow in. So, and that's going to be the same case this year. I already have plans to add 2 more beds in. So it's addictive. I think like my gardening addiction is as strong as my sewing addiction. In fact, I don't know, like if I had to choose between gardening and sewing, I don't know if I could. I don't think I could. They're like my 2 loves in life. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this year's garden. What are you guys working on this weekend? Are you chilling or you getting some sewing in or anything else? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear. Again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you hanging out with me. And be sure and tune back in next week when I'll have a pattern review for the duets. If you're interested in sewing up these pants, I'm going to give you a little preview. Like I mentioned earlier, they're so good. They're going to be good. This might be like the only dress pants pattern I ever need. We'll see once the final thing is done, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be really good. So that's all. Thanks again. Hope you have a great weekend. I'll talk to you next week. Bye.